Welcome back, everybody, to the Game of Thrones reviews. And after 2 years, we're finally back. Season 8, Episode 1. It's been nearly 2 years since Season 7. It's been a long, long wait, but alas, we're finally here with Season 8, Episode 1. Honestly, I don't even know the title for it, but I'm still going to do the review anyways. Just finished the episode. And overall first impressions, I think it was actually pretty good. Usually most episode 1s of Game of Thrones are pretty slow and they're mostly just setup, but I found this episode to be quite good. It actually was paced well. There's good character moments. I didn't really find it to be boring. But anyways, guys, let's get into this. We're going to go scene by scene, just discuss everything that happened. So, episode kind of starts off. We have the arrival at Winterfell, very poetic to Season 1, Episode 1, like when Robert and his whole party come to Winterfell. Dany and Jon, the whole crew come in. We see the dragons come in too. We got Arya glancing off. We got everybody. And honestly, it was pretty quick scene. Not really much to discuss from there, but it kind of just builds into the whole meeting at Winterfell. Like we have everybody in kind of the main Winterfell hall, all the characters. We got Lyanna Mormont, we got Brienne, we got Sansa, Daenerys, Tyrion, and of course everyone's kind of pissed off at Jon for joining Daenerys and kind of renouncing his crown and kind of putting it down his status as king. So there's tensions there. Lyanna calls him out. Everyone's kind of getting mad at him. Sansa's kind of got some tensions with Dany, so that's pretty cool. I want to see where that's gonna go because clearly Sansa does not like Dany, and they kind of discuss that later on in the episode. Will we see something develop from that? I don't know, but I'm liking where this is going. Everyone's pissed off at Jon, like they rightfully should be. I mean, Jon was King of the North. They gave him the title as King of the North, and he just kind of denied that for Dany, but he's telling them we need allies and I have to make sacrifices, blah, blah, blah. Thought it was a good scene. Didn't really find much wrong with it. And then after that, we kind of go into the Arya and Jon reunion. They're in the Godswood, and it's very, very quick. You know, they just hug. They talk about Needle and Longclaw. And it was I guess it was kind of an emotional scene. I mean, Jon and Arya, they haven't seen each other since season 1. So that's a long, long time. So of course, people would be expected to be emotionally touched by that scene. I didn't really care, to be honest, but I just found it to be a good scene overall. It's nice to see them. I think Maisie Williams and Kit Harington, they vibe up each other really well. It's been years. I didn't really think how their characters would interact, if it would work or not, but so far, I think it's pretty good. Speaking of reunions, we also have Tyrion and Sansa. If you guys don't know, well, if you don't remember, Tyrion and Sansa were married very briefly in Season 3, and we get to see them talk, and it doesn't really go as well as Jon and Arya's reunion. Sansa's pissed off at Tyrion. It's oh, you're queen to who? Cersei or Dany? So overall, Sansa's just kind of being pretty pissed off this episode. She's not having anybody's shit, and I don't really blame her. I mean, Sansa's been keeping Winterfell down for the past season, and then she just comes back to all this shit. But I mean, it's all for a good cause, right? So I don't know. I don't blame Sansa for being mad, not at all. And then, of course, we go to King's Landing, where the Golden Company and Euron Greyjoy arrive. They're supposed to have elephants for Cersei, but they don't. And Euron kind of says, "Yo, Cersei, I need my reward back. I provided you with the Iron Fleet. I provided you with victories. I given you the Golden Company. Where's my reward?" And of course, all he wants to do is fuck Cersei. So eventually, she gives in, and Cersei actually likes Euron. She said he was better than Robert, and she really, really likes Euron. So that was honestly interesting. I wasn't expecting Cersei to really like Euron like that. I thought she was I thought she was honestly going to kill Euron in the earlier seasons, and she was just using him to get the army and whatnot. But no, it was a good scene. I like that, and the guy who plays Euron's pretty cool. And speaking of Euron, or just the Greyjoys in general, Theon saves Yara in this episode. He pretty much just infiltrates Euron's ship while he's with Cersei, gets Yara out, and then they leave. The thing I didn't really like about that, it just seemed way too fucking easy. This was kind of built up at the end of Season 7. He's going to go save Yara, but the way he saves her is just so simple. I expected it to be more difficult. There'd be more of a challenge. You'd have to fight Euron maybe, but no. It's really a 1-minute scene. He's got Yara, and that's it. I didn't really expect it to be that easy. That was kind of disappointing, but whatever. I guess the writers didn't really want to deal with that plot line. They just want to deal with other stuff, and that's not really important. And Theon basically decides, I'm going to Winterfell, I want to fight for the Starks, and that's honestly the right thing for his character. I mean, Theon grew up with the Starks, he's kind of been loyal to them. Of course, he's had some problems with loyalties in the past, but I'm glad Theon's going to fight with the Starks at Winterfell. That's going to be really cool to see Theon and Jon fight together again. That would be awesome. I'd love to see that. I'm glad he's going there. I don't really know what's happening with Yara. I think they kind of just wrote her character off after this episode. It's kind of disappointing, but anyways. And we also get a really funny scene with Bronn having a fucking threesome with all these prostitutes. Great way to introduce his character for the season. Very fitting for Bronn. It was very, very funny. And of course, he doesn't really get to do anything because Qyburn interrupts him. And interestingly enough, he gives him a mission to kill Jaime and Tyrion with the crossbow Tyrion killed Tywin with. It's like poetic justice in a way. Cersei is giving Bronn the mission to kill Jaime and Tyrion. I was not expecting that. I find that really, really, really damn cool. Bronn's mission this season is going to be to kill Tyrion and Jaime. I really want to see where this is going to go. I'm really liking that. That's super cool. Props to the writers for coming up with that because honestly, they really didn't know what they were doing with Bronn. He was kind of just tagging along with Jaime and fighting, but he didn't really have any more character arcs. And this is good. This is interesting. This is the kind of plot lines I like about Game of Thrones. He's mission to assassinate Tyrion and Jaime, two of his like former good friends. So I'm really interested to see where this goes. Is he going to do it? Is he actually going to kill them? We'll see, because, you know, Jaime kind of owes Bronn a castle, so maybe he's just going to get his revenge after all. I don't know, man. That's really cool. I like that scene. And then we have a scene where Jon and Dany go to the dragons, and Jon rides a dragon for the very first time. And I mean, it was okay. It just seemed like they were kind of wasting the CGI budget to show, oh look, we have dragons, they're flying, they're cool, you know. And of course, the Jon and Dany romance. It's just kind of cringy at this point, but I don't really mind. It's kind of cool. It's funny to laugh at knowing that they're related and they're just so in love. It's kind of dumb, but honestly, the whole scene, it was just, I guess the CGI was cool, the visuals were cool, Jon was falling around on the dragon. I kind of found that funny. And like how one of the dragons was like staring at Jon and he's making out with Dany. It's like, that was good humor. It was good humor, but I didn't really see the point of that scene. It was just kind of a waste of CGI when we haven't even seen Jon's dire wolf in like how many seasons. Like, it's just kind of stupid, but whatever. And then we have another reunion scene, Arya, Gendry, and the Hound. Kind of a quick scene. The Hound's kind of pissed off at Arya. He's like, oh, you left me to die. It's because you're a cold bitch. But he's like, it's because that's why you're still alive. And honestly, I found that pretty cool. I didn't really expect him to be all like happy. He's like, oh, hey, Arya, what's up? No, it was kind of tense, but simple at the same time. And then we have Arya and Gendry. Arya wants Gendry to make a Valyrian steel spear for her, because of course Gendry is like working in the forges with the blacksmiths trying to make dragonglass weapons, and they're hard at work. And there's a bit of like, I guess, kind of sexual chemistry between the two. I mean, they kind of had a little bit of romance back in like season 3, but I don't know where it's gonna go. But it's still interesting. I like Gendry's character, and I wouldn't mind if he ends up with Arya, so I don't mind that. And then after that, we have a really interesting scene with Sam, Dany, and Jorah. And Dany confronts Sam saying, oh, you saved Jorah's life, you're cool, blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of pieces it together that, oh, she killed my dad and brother. It's very awkward. It's such an awkward scene. And Sam just cries right away. And it's kind of sad because Sam's like, oh, my dad's dead. That means I can go home now because my brother's in charge. And it's like, oh, I killed your brother too. And then he just leaves. That was actually sad. I was like, wow, fuck, that's pretty emotional. And then he leaves, he storms off in a huff, and then he basically talks to Bran. He says, yo, we gotta tell Jon, fuck Dany. Dany's a bitch. She killed my brother and dad. We gotta tell him that he's the true king and not her. And then he goes to tell Jon in the crypts. He's like, yeah, you're Aegon Targaryen. You're the true heir to the Iron Throne. Jon doesn't believe him because like, oh, Ned's honorable. He would never lie to me. But he eventually just believes him, and it just kind of cuts off there. I mean, I want to see where that's going to go. They're obviously going to save the revelation for that later when they tell Dany, because obviously Dany's going to be pissed if she finds out, and it's going to be crazy. But relatively good scene. It was emotional when Sam found out about his dad and brother. I like that. I like how the writers actually addressed that. They just didn't sweep it under the rug. It was actually important point from season 7 became relevant again. And then we have a scene where Tormund and Beric still alive. I guess they're at the Umber stronghold. I think it's called Last Hearth, and it's completely like abandoned. And after they meet up with Ed from the Night's Watch, the Lord Commander who Jon gave Lord Commander to in season 6 when he left. And they go down to the basements, and then they find Ned Umber, one of the Umber boys who Ned gave the lands back to. And they find him dead on the wall, and like that whole like weird White Walker symbol where it's like this cool spiral. He's like dead, and then they kill him. So they're basically saying, yeah, the White Walkers are on their way, and it was pretty scary. It was a scary scene, like how the boy just basically turned into like the White Walker, like the White right away, and it was kind of like a jump scare. It was kind of like a horror movie in a way, but interesting scene. Very cool, very interesting. And then the last scene in the episode, and I was anticipating this. I was like, "Where's Jamie? It's been so long in the episode. Jamie did not appear." I'm like, "Okay, are they going to save him for next episode?" But nope, Jamie appears at the very end of the episode. He arrives at Winterfell. He's got the hood on because I guess he doesn't want people to know who he is because everyone hates Jamie in the North. And he arrives there. There's not really any dialogue. And first person he sees when he comes into Winterfell, none other than Bran, the same kid he pushed out the window in the first episode of the first season. So it's poetic, of course. First episode of the first season ends with Bran and Jamie. First episode of the last season ends with Bran and Jamie. So it's cool to kind of see that connection. But overall, guys, I thought that was a pretty solid episode. One of the best episode ones probably like ever. Very reminiscent, very poetic, and callbacks to season 1. So I enjoyed that because season 1 is my favorite season overall. But interesting episode, very good setup. I didn't really find it boring. It's definitely setting up a lot of good stuff for the next few episodes, and I'm looking forward to it. It was a good episode. I've obviously said that a bunch of times, but overall, I'd probably give it a 8.3, 0.4 out of 10. Not bad. It's a pretty good episode. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, as always. Stay tuned. There's going to be reviews every week. 5 more reviews. We've only got 6 episodes this season, but I will upload, I promise. So thank you guys for watching again. I'm Royce Duke, and I'll see you guys later.